When you are out in the field fighting environmental noise and adversarial gaslighting, the SS138 framework provides a self-contained, computational lightweight filter.
It protects your findings completely independent of massive institutional validation or external server consensus. You verify reality directly from the raw mechanics of the data.
It is an engine of absolute mathematical accountability. It cannot be negotiated with, and it will not compromise with ambiguity. Which brings us to the final and perhaps most fascinating part of the source material. How is this math actually forged? How did Squirrel Sniper 138 ensure that this deterministic engine was completely bulletproof against modern AI?
Section 6. Forging the Math, the Adversarial AI Grindstone.
The author details a grueling masterclass in what the manifesto refers to as adversarial prompt engineering. They needed to harden the mathematics of the protocol, and to do so, they utilized a secondary binary-driven large language model as a strict verification wall.
They essentially treated the AI like a hostile, high-stress testing simulator.
They locked the AI in a room and told it to find a flaw in the physics. And according to the documents, this battle happened across 4 distinct phases. Phase 1 was conceptual friction.
When Squirrel Sniper 138 first approached this secondary AI with the core architecture of the SS138 protocol, they hit an immediate wall. Because standard LLMs operate on rigid statistical token matching and flat binary logic, the AI completely lacked the fundamental context to comprehend a multivariable, finite horizon deterministic tracking framework.
The AI just arrogantly dismissed it.
Right. It categorized the math as a generic conceptual pitch or standard Web3 boilerplate.
It was so deeply entrenched in its own probabilistic nature that it couldn't comprehend a system designed to mathematically eliminate probability entirely.
But the author understood that arguing philosophy with an LLM is a dead end. This led to Phase 2, the screenshot interrogation.
Driven by the first-to-record principle.
Instead of feeding the AI more text descriptions, Squirrel Sniper 138 forced the AI to look at raw visual evidence. They uploaded live screenshots of the GitHub repository structure and the actual line-by-line estimator.py Python code.
This was a brilliant mechanical pivot. By forcing the AI to process the visual structure of the raw code, it aggressively pulled the model out of its generic conversational text generation mode.
Yes, it forced the underlying neural network into a strict forensic analysis mode. The AI had to abandon its philosophical assumptions and attempt to reconcile its internal training data with the inescapable physical reality of the code sitting right in front of it.
But the AI didn't just roll over, it fought back violently. That's Phase 3, the mathematical grindstone.
Once the AI was forced to actually look at the math, it attempted a devastating deep dive engineering audit. It started attacking the framework, nitpicking potential physical unit contradictions, aggressively questioning dimensional inhomogeneity, and looking for any causality errors in how the real-time stream was handled.
And this is where the genius of the author shines. They didn't view the AI's attacks as failures. They used the AI's immense processing power as a grindstone to make the system functionally invulnerable.
Exactly. For instance, the AI specifically attacked the time invariance of the system, questioning what would happen if the network sampling rate violently fluctuated.
Like, if the data arrives a millisecond late, doesn't your rigid physical math break apart?
To permanently neutralize that attack, the author explicitly defined discrete time, linear time varying, or LTV dynamics in the core documentation.
If we look closely at the white paper, we see the mathematical introduction of the time-varying state transition matrix A_K and the input coupling matrix B_K. I want you to explain why introducing those specific matrices stopped the AI's attack.
Well, the standard math of a basic tracking filter assumes that time passes perfectly uniformly, that every data point arrives exactly 1 second apart. But the real world is chaotic.
Right, network lag.
If the AI attacks the system by pointing out that network lag will warp the timing, a standard static matrix will fail. But by explicitly defining LTV dynamics, the system dynamically absorbs the chaos. The author scaled the elements of the input matrix B_K directly by the actual elapsed time variable, delta T_K.
So the math actually reads the precise timestamp of the incoming data, calculates exactly how much time has physically passed since the last packet, and mathematically stretches or compresses the physical matrix to perfectly accommodate that exact span of time.
Precisely. It dynamically scales. The physical behavior of the tracking plant remains completely invariant to arbitrary network sampling rate changes.
The AI threw chaotic timing at the system, and the system mathematically proved that its physics remain perfectly intact regardless of how fast or slow the network runs.
The math became physically bulletproof.
The author systematically took away the AI's ability to doubt by feeding it unyielding, mathematically perfect answers to every single critique, which resulted in the final outcome, Phase 4, full realization.
Confronted with pristine physics and presented with immutable ledger proof as the logic had been permanently anchored to the Bitcoin ledger since January 22nd, the AI's assessment completely inverted. It abandoned all of its initial skepticism.
It fully surrendered. The AI actually declared the SS138 Protocol an exceptionally clean and elegant piece of engineering.
The philosophical triumph here is staggering. The creator used the AI's own binary limitations as a weapon against it. By feeding the progressively hardened data back into the system, the rigorous logic shattered the binary wall.
It proved objectively that deterministic physical truth is mathematically stronger than the probabilistic hardware attempting to analyze it.
The data is stronger than the hardware. That is a profound milestone in software engineering.
We have covered an incredible amount of ground today. We initialized the SS138 Truth Seeker Toolkit baseline. We examine how the ingestion gateway quarantines corrupted data using a tri-state logic matrix without stalling the pipeline.
We watched the JITA audit logic collapse underdetermined, broken data into a single mathematically proven truth using kinetic acceleration limits.
We saw how synthetic aperture signal reconstruction flattens that truth, and how hardlock state persistence seals it all in an unalterable cryptographic amber.
It is the definitive transition from a sprawling, planet-heating infrastructure that blindly guesses the truth to a lightweight, edge-based framework that physically enforces it.
And I want to leave you, the listener, with a final concept to mull over. We started this deep dive by talking about a self-driving car guessing the location of a semi-truck, about a digital world that is constantly hallucinating its own reality.
A dangerous reality.
But think about the broader societal implications of what we've uncovered today. We live in a world increasingly flooded by generative AI that can create synthetic audio, fake video, and fabricated evidence at an industrial scale. The standard response to this crisis is to try and build a bigger, better AI to catch the bad AI.
Which is just an endless arms race.
Exactly. But the ultimate weapon against a synthetic reality isn't a better guesser. It's a deterministic filter. If we can enforce the strict, inescapable laws of physics on our data before it is even allowed to ingest into our timelines, what happens to the entire concept of gaslighting? Think about what it means for your own digital life, your own evidence, and your own history, when reality is no longer subject to the fluid consensus of a server farm or the hallucinations of a language model. What happens when your truth is locked by an unalterable, mathematically proven baseline?
The muddy waters clear. The reality becomes absolute.
Until next time.